Dangerous and horrible. Former Prime Minister Patterson decries U.S. drone strikes on vessels in Caribbean waters, warns attacks erode idea of region as zone of peace. Good evening and welcome to another segment of the news. News provided by the Gleaner and read by the News Lady. And now for the details. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson is describing the United States drone attacks on vessels in Caribbean waters as fundamentally dangerous and a horrible erosion of regional leaders' commitment to sovereignty in the region. Since September 2, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered military strikes on at least 5 boats in the Caribbean Sea, which his administration claims were carrying drugs to the U.S. According to the U.S. government's account, the military has killed 27 people, with the most recent attack on Tuesday, which the U.S. government said killed 6 people. Patterson, who served as Jamaica's prime minister from 1992 to 2006, told the Gleaner the situation was not only frightening but dangerous. At our very first meeting in 1972 in Chaguaramas, the 4 independent countries, Jamaica under Michael Manley, Barbados under Errol Barrow, Guyana under Forbes Burnham, and under the chairmanship of Eric Williams, then Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, declared the Caribbean to be a zone of peace. What we are witnessing is a fundamentally dangerous and horrible erosion of that firm commitment to assert our collective sovereignty in the area. It is a matter which compels the heads of government in the Caribbean, as a matter of the greatest urgency, to be in consultations and seek to take a common position, hopefully in reaffirmation of that inviolable position. In a statement, a day after the first strike, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bissessar voiced strong support for the U.S. action. I, along with most of the country, am happy that the U.S. naval deployment is having success in their mission. The pain and suffering the cartels have inflicted in our nation is immense. I have no sympathy for traffickers. The U.S. military should kill them all violently. However, speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in late September, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley appealed for dialogue to avoid a war between the U.S. and Venezuela, while Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, described the foreign militarization of the waters near Venezuela as exceedingly troubling. The current CARICOM chairman is Jamaica's Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, but the regional grouping has so far not made public its position on the vexed issue. Patterson would, however, not be drawn into forming an opinion on why CARICOM has chosen to remain silent. I would rather not share my view on that. This is not a matter that permits any semblance of political division. He, Holness, is the chairman of CARICOM. There is a well-established pattern by which we have dealt with such matters. Perhaps the most recent one is when we had to meet to deal with the American request for a shipwrighter agreement. Jamaica entered into the shipwrighter agreement with the Americans in 1997, which was brought into force by the passage of the Maritime Drug Trafficking Suppression Act, 1998. The agreement allows U.S. vessels to pursue and search within Jamaica's waters vessels suspected of drug trafficking. While mindful of the country's sovereignty, the U.S. vessels may also pursue and search Jamaican vessels which arouse suspicion in international waters. Jamaicans are among regional fisherfolk who have expressed concern about the development, with fears that they become collateral damage in the ongoing conflict. Patterson says the continued onslaughts is a clear and present danger to all maritime users and urged action from the regional body. There are rules which apply in international waters which should not be violated. What is taking place has worrying implications, not only in terms of the violation of international law, but it affects activities of those who operate in maritime waters, whether for fishing, cruising, or sailing. The existing situation demands that CARICOM heads cannot remain quiet. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has not responded to emailed questions on the matter sent to her office on October 7. Announcing the first of the strikes in early September, Trump said his forces had destroyed a vessel that left Venezuela and was operated by the Tren de Aragua cartel and carrying drugs bound for the U.S. The accounts have been accompanied by grainy footage, but the U.S. government has not provided evidence of the alleged drug trafficking or details about who or what was on board each ship. In one case, the Colombian president said a boat hit by the U.S. was not Venezuelan but Colombian, with Colombian citizens inside, a claim which the White House denied. Once again, this has been another segment of the news provided by the Gleaner and read by the News Lady. Good evening, and thank you for listening.